A lot of drivers want to know, how is my paycheck going to be affected? Well, it's pretty simple. Your paycheck's going to have three elements now as opposed to one like it used to have. You're going to have a revenue stream, which is kind of like a water hose. You've got a pending deduction and invoice bucket, which is kind of like a 5-gallon bucket. And then you've got an escrow bucket, which is about a 2-gallon bucket. The whole idea is every week when they start to run payroll, they turn on your revenue stream. And they start pouring all your loads into the big bucket. Once they pay your truck payment, your insurance, your fuel bill, some water is going to start to spill out. Then they're going to fill up your escrow bucket, which is going to be your weekly contribution to your escrow, and then everything else that spills out goes into your pocket. So you can see how keeping our fixed costs low actually helps our drivers be more successful. The more money we can get outside of those buckets, the more it's going to go into your pocket. Now, one thing you got to remember, when you go into a lease purchase truck, you're responsible for your own taxes. So it's important for you to find a good tax professional to help you with that part. Another thing you need to remember is at P&S, we have some maintenance facilities that our drivers can take advantage of. We have company maintenance facilities in Birmingham, Alabama, Nashville, Tennessee, and Emporia, Virginia. The important thing to remember about these facilities is there's no markup on parts. So what we pay for a part is what you're going to pay. For example, an airbag that might cost $150 at a truck stop will cost us around $100 if we were to purchase it. The other thing you got to remember is we keep our labor costs low. We charge around $50 an hour for labor, and we only bill out the amount of time it takes to actually complete the repair. So repairs that might cost $250 at a truck stop are going to cost about half that at one of our facilities. Another thing we do is we offer cheaper mounting and balancing on tires and brakes that are about half the cost of what you're going to get somewhere else. So it's important to talk to your driver manager if you need these repairs done so they can route you through one of these terminals. Now a lot of that's going to be on you. You're going to be doing your pre-trip and your post-trip every day. So you're going to know when it's getting close to time for tires, brakes, and other small maintenance items. Then you got to have a conversation with your driver manager. You got to let that guy know that you need to get through one of these terminals with a shop so you can get that work done cheaper. I get calls from owner-operators all the time that are complaining about their cost of maintenance on the truck, and I find that the number one place they're going to is the truck stop. Well, that's like complaining that you're spending too much on your household grocery bill and you buy all your groceries at a gas station. It's the most expensive place in the world to get maintenance done. And I wouldn't suggest using a truck stop even for an oil change unless you absolutely have to. Now, a lot of guys talk to me about what happens at the end of a lease. And I'm sure if you've been around us very long, you've seen our posts on Facebook where we give out titles. So what basically happens is you pay your lease off, you pay your balloon note, you come by the office here, we take a picture on Facebook, and we make you famous on the internet for 2 or 3 minutes at a time. That process is pretty simple, and once you've got that title in your hand, you're going to have a few options. The first option you got is to keep driving the truck without a truck payment every week. That essentially gives you a raise right off the bat. Another option you might have is to hire a driver. Put him in the truck you just paid off, and we'll lease you another truck. We've got a couple drivers that have multiple drivers driving for them now in trucks that they've paid off with our company. Some guys prefer to take the truck they've just paid off and sell it and use that money to either reinvest in another truck, maybe open up a retirement account or an education savings account for their kids, or maybe you just take a really nice vacation. At any rate, we can also help you sell your truck if that's the route you want to go. We've got a driver at P&S now that's working on paying off his 6th LP truck since he's been with us. And generally, he likes to take that money he makes and invest it in other things. Sometimes drivers ask, what happens if the program's not for me? Well, if you decide that the lease purchase life isn't for you, or you get in trouble and you're not insurable again, or you have to step out due to illness or an accident, as long as the truck comes back to us in Birmingham, Alabama, in the same shape it was in the day we leased it out, you can walk away from the program. Now, a lot of drivers say, well, what if I turn it into another terminal? We didn't lease you the truck in another terminal. We leased you the truck here in Birmingham. So it needs to come back here to this terminal unless someone from our leasing group tells you otherwise. Also, the truck has to come back to us in the same shape it was in the day we leased it out, or lease ready, in other words. If you bring us a truck that needs $10,000 in repairs, then we're probably going to take that money out of your escrow or out of your final settlements to get it ready to go for the next guy, because that's what's fair. If you have $20,000 in your escrow when you return your truck and you need $5,000 to get it ready to go again, we don't have a problem giving you your $15,000 back, but we have to be fair for the next person that leases that truck. As long as you leave your lease in good standing, you are eligible for rehire, or you can go back to being a company driver. But the important thing to know is you need to leave it in good standing. The truck needs to come back in good shape, and you need to bring it back to where we tell you to. One thing you need to understand, the moment you sign your lease purchase contract, you're no longer an employee of P&S Transportation. You're now an independent contractor. And when you become an independent contractor, you're no longer eligible for health insurance, vision insurance, life and vacation, or dental insurance. A lot of guys don't think about that before they jump into the lease purchase life. Well, that's a pretty big expense. And you're going to need to do some homework beforehand to make sure that you're covered and your family's covered if you were to get sick. We have some options that we're going to throw a slide up here in a minute that you can look at and make some phone calls, but I suggest to explore every option you can to find the cheapest coverage that fits you the best. Another thing you got to think about is your tax burden. As a company driver, we cut out your taxes and we pay the government for you. You file your tax return at the beginning of the year and you get some money back if you've overpaid. Well, as a lease purchase operator, that burden's on you to handle your taxes. So every quarter, you're going to need someone to file a quarterly income tax report and to file your income tax returns at the beginning of the year as well. You're also paid on a 1099. So that means every bit of money that goes into your pocket is going to be taxable. And it's going to be important for you to find a really good accountant to help you with that. We've got a couple accountants that we suggest that work closely with some lease purchase operators. I'm going to put his number up in a minute. If you want to give us a call, we can talk about that more. Another main thing you have to understand is anytime you start a business, you're going to need some help. And I just got done talking about taxes and bookkeeping and paperwork, but it's important to have someone that can help you along with that understands trucking. If you don't have somebody that understands trucking doing your taxes, you're going to be lost and you might overpay or underpay, and then you're going to get in trouble with the IRS. So make sure you find a good tax professional. Drivers want to know, how fast does the truck go that I'm going to lease? Our lease purchase trucks run 65 miles an hour. We do PMs every 20,000 to 45,000 miles depending on the unit, and we require a DOT inspection every 90 days. Another important thing to know, to be eligible for the program, you're going to need to get a TWIC card. So if you don't have that, get with your driver manager so they can get you to a TWIC location. We also have a loaner program here at P&S. That means if your truck breaks down and it's going to be in the shop for more than about 5 days, we can put you in a loaner truck to use while your truck's getting fixed. Another thing to remember is if you're off work, your recurring deductions don't stop. So you need to make plans to have those deductions like your truck note come out the following week. Now that you've seen the video, you should have a pretty good understanding of our lease purchase program. But if you've got additional questions, that's cool. We want to help answer them for you. We've got a list of phone numbers up here you can write down, or you can call me, Tim Turner, at extension 1405, or you can call Travis Nobinger at extension 1401. We'll be more than happy to go through any parts of the program you might have questions on, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for giving us your time today. We look forward to working with you soon.